Hello, everybody. Hope everybody's doing good. Hope everybody had a great Thursday. And this is S.O.P. Presents Tidbits with Peaches. We do this every Thursday at 6. Give everybody a few minutes to get on. I hope you guys had an awesome Thursday. Hope everybody's doing well on this thankful Thursday. Just thankful to see another Thursday. Thankful to be amongst the living. So we're going to give everybody a few minutes to get on today. I hope everybody's doing good. Hope everybody had a great day. Hey, Trinae. Hey, Portia. Hey, girl. Hey. Hope y'all had a good day. Everybody's doing
Motion
good.
detected at the backyard.
Everybody's doing good. Hope y'all had a great day. I'm going to give everybody a few more minutes before we get started. And as always, this is S.O.P. Presents Tidbits with Peaches. S.O.P. is Shalom of Peace Ministries, where the pastor is Pastor James McCallum out of Archdale, North Carolina. And of course, I am Peaches. And we do this every Thursday at 6. I'm going to go ahead and start with the businesses today. If they don't catch the live, they can go back and watch it. Again, I hope everybody had a great day. We're just going to go ahead and jump right in today. We're going to start with businesses.
Motion detected at the
We have
backyard.
Jones Transportation. We have Jones Thrift Store and TNA Travels, which is in Rockingham, North Carolina. They do have a Facebook page if you're in need of transportation. If you need to book your next vacation, reach out to TNA Travels. And if you're in the Rockingham area and you're in need of transportation, Jones Transportation will be your avenue. Soul Fit Nutrition is out of Archdale, North Carolina. She's open Monday through Friday, and then Saturday and Sunday she does 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. And she is also a personal trainer. If you guys are in the Gifford County area, you're looking for a personal trainer or looking for um, nutritions and different kinds of detox and things, she has those. And again, it's Soul Fit Nutritions. Her address is 1041 8B North Main Street in Archdale, North Carolina. In Greensboro, North Carolina, we have Triple C's Cakes, which is Ashika Clark. She does all kinds of cakes, any kinds of treats you need. Check her out. Hey, Tanita. We have B&J's Creations, which is Monica Gramlin out of Waysboro. She makes T-shirts, anything, shawls. She does the mugs and anything. We have Marie's Luxury Handbags and Accessories. She is out of Indian Trail, North Carolina. Vanessa Price, she has VP Learning Center and 789 Nails and High Point, North Carolina. We also have Wake Up Creations, which is Jessica Baxter, Charity McCallum, and Pamela Breeden. We have T-shirts. We do a lot of posting on Facebook as well. Under Wake Up Creation, we have Triple M Rentals, which is Jessica, Charity, and Evan. They do all kinds of balloon arches for birthday parties, retirement parties. Um, we have Fair's Child Care out of Morven, North Carolina. And if you're in need of child care in that area, you can reach out to Miss Fair. Pool Automotive is in Aberdeen, North Carolina. So if you're looking for a car in Moore County, you can reach out to Pastor D.R. Bennett. You're looking for cameras or TVs to be mounted, anything. Hey, sister, you can reach out to Moore County TV Mount and you can look them up under the same name. We have Junior's Music Store and more. He is in Virginia, but he does travel. He does guitar lessons, piano lessons. He also does school band rentals. He is in Virginia, and that's Junior's Music Store and more. We have Trinity Coaching, which is myself. If you know anyone that's in need of a life coach, just inbox me. We have Latoya Sullivan. She does Divine Accessories, Phenomenal You Accessories. She is also in Indian Trail. We have Shay Jackson Green, which is in Waysboro, North Carolina. She does Trendy Travels and she has Trendsetters Hair Salon. If you're in need of any kind of life insurance, we have Prime America, which is Pastor McCallum, Charity McCallum, and Darius Baxter. If you need their services, please feel free to reach out to either one of those. They are on Facebook. We also have Picture Perfect with Kiki for photos. She also does
Motion detected at the
t-shirts
backyard.
um, and those things. And then we have Pat Bennett. She has all kinds of arts and crafts. She does wreaths. She posts most of her things on Mount Sinai page. We have Trinae Siobhan Art. She posts a lot of things on Facebook. She does awesome wreaths and she makes beautiful things. So y'all check those people out on Facebook. And if I miss anyone, please let me know. If you have a business, if you get it to me, we will make sure that we shout it out on here. I think it's good to support one another. And that is what I have for the businesses today. And today I want to talk a little bit about, drum roll, I want to talk a little bit about accountability and responsibility. Accountability is something that we all um, should practice every day. We hold ourselves accountable for what we do. We can't control what anyone else
Motion
does,
detected at the
but we have to
backyard.
make sure we're holding ourselves accountable for what we do. We can't control what other people do, but what we can control is how other people react or how we react to what other people do. So you have to hold yourself accountable. Hey, KK, hope you're doing good. Hey, Pastor, hope you're doing good. And today, again, we're talking about accountability and responsibility. Accountability is where I'm holding myself accountable for my actions, my life, how I move, how I speak. I'm holding myself accountable. I can't control, like I said, what other people do, but what I can control is what I react to. I'm responsible every day for myself. I'm not responsible for other things. I'm doing good, KK. But I am responsible for how I react. I'm responsible for what I do. I'm responsible for how I move. I'm responsible for what I do, what I speak, and everything. I'm responsible for me. And just like a parent is responsible for her children, she's
Motion detected
responsible
at
to
the
make sure
backyard.
that's her responsibility to make sure that they are taken care of. So, my responsibility now, because my seeds are grown, I have grandchildren, but I'm still responsible for what I do. And I'm responsible to make sure I hold myself accountable before what I do. There's a scripture in Romans 14 and 12 that says, then every one of us shall give account of himself to God. So God holds us accountable for our actions and what we do and how we move and what we speak. So if he's holding us accountable, that means we have to hold ourselves accountable too. I'm responsible. I have to hold myself accountable for what I do. So when we get ready to go before God, he's not going to ask us about, well, what did sister so and so do? Well, what did brother so and so do? And he's not going to be concerned with you pointing the finger at someone else. He's just going to want to know what you did and what you are accountable for and what were you responsible for. So when anything that we do, make sure that we're holding ourselves accountable for our
Motion
actions.
detected at the
I'm
backyard.
responsible for me. You're responsible for you. You hold yourself accountable for your actions. We can't always play the blame game. We can't always point our finger at others when sometimes you got to reflect back to the person that's looking at you in the mirror to say, okay, what did I allow? What did I do? How did I react to the situation? Maybe I could have went at it different. I'm holding myself accountable for what I did, my part in it. I'm responsible for me. So I've got to look at me. I got to take a second glance, go back and look at that woman or that man in the mirror and say, okay, what did you do? So sometimes we take and we react to things when we shouldn't. I'm not concerned about. You may have said something that hurt my feelings, yes, but still I've got to be accountable for how I reacted to it. So that's the whole thing, holding yourself accountable for your actions. Each of us have to get to that point to understand that I can't control you. You can't control me, but what I can control is how I react to what you have done. I'm holding myself accountable for that. Am I responsible for what I say? Yes. Am I responsible for how I react to the situation? Yes. So sometimes you have to stop, think before you speak, think before you react, because you're going to be held accountable for your actions. So we have to be able to do that. I hold myself accountable for what I do and be able to look in the mirror. I don't want to point the blame. I don't want to do the blame thing. I don't want to say you did this and you did that. We should have done this. No, what did you do? I'm talking to myself now. What did I do and what did I allow to happen? So I'm holding myself accountable. I'm being responsible for what I did, what my actions were. I'm taking the initiative to say, this is what I did. Maybe I could have did this a different way. I'm holding myself accountable. Even though sometimes, I remember I said before, sometimes you have to take an L, but in actuality, that L becomes a win because you held yourself accountable. You were responsible for what you did. And an L is not always a bad thing. Sometimes on the other side of that L was your
Motion
win.
detected
But
at the
because you
backyard.
took that L, you took responsibility. You held yourself accountable for what you did and what you allowed. And I hope that makes sense because I think sometimes we get so caught up in our feelings that we don't realize that the feeling of it is how you react to it. So I've got to, even with my emotions and my feelings, I have to hold myself accountable for them because sometimes everything we feel is not what it is because we're still human. And in our feelings, sometimes we make quick decisions or may do quick responses or have quick answers for things that sometimes if you come out of your feelings, I always say you can't make an intelligent decision while you're in your feelings because your feelings will lead you wrong sometimes. Just because you feel it, that doesn't mean that's exactly what it is. That's why at that point, you need to go talk and sit down and have a conversation with whoever or whatever the situation may be. And then you go from there. And in studying this, so many things came to my mind because when you're talking about accountability and responsibility, you can also talk about arrogance and confidence because people get the two mixed up. Just like accountability and responsibility, people get them mixed up sometime too. Because I'm responsible for me, you're responsible for you. But in anything that we do, we still have to take accountability for our actions. And then sometimes that's where arrogance comes in. And then sometimes people think confidence is arrogance, and arrogance is just arrogance. I have to be able to say, I'm confident in who I am. I'm confident in the fact that I know God is going to come through for me. I'm confident in the fact of who He made me because I learned to take responsibility and hold myself accountable. That kind of confidence is a good thing to have. I'm confident in the fact that I've learned to think before I speak sometimes. I'm confident in the fact of knowing that I'm not always right. I'm confident in the fact that I am teachable. I have to learn. It doesn't matter how many credits or how many letters are behind my name. I'm confident in the fact that I still don't know everything. I'm confident in the fact of knowing that I'm still growing. I'm still learning. Every day is a new day. It's a new season. Every day I'm learning something different. Every day. I'm open so God can teach me different things, so He can order my steps. That's what I'm confident in. I don't ever want to be arrogant. I want to be humble enough that He'll always get the glory out of my life. And that means if I have to go back and take accountability for some things that I've done and hold myself responsible so I can get to the place where I'm confident in me enough to know that I'm not arrogant. I'm just confident in who He made me to be. There's a difference. Arrogant is having or revealing an arrogant sense of one's own importance or ability. Arrogance means that I'm so, I take myself and hold myself in this caliber, or I'm high above everybody else. That's arrogance. Confident is knowing that I'm no better than the next brother. Confident is knowing that I wouldn't be anything without God. That's just being confident in who I am and who I serve, to know that I can and will do all things through Christ that strengthens me. Arrogance is when I think I did it by myself.
Motion
Mm.
detected at the
Arrogance is when
backyard.
you think you accomplished everything by yourself. Yeah, you went to school. Yeah, you got a good degree, but you didn't do it by yourself. See, if He didn't think enough of us to say, okay, wake up, or if He didn't think enough of us to blow life into us, then how would we have gotten up to go to school or gotten up to go to that job? Or had the mindset to study hard and the mindset to get in and learn everything I can. You have to remember, arrogance is thinking that you did it by yourself, that you climbed it all by yourself, or you did it by yourself. To me, a confident person is knowing that without Christ, I couldn't do anything. Without Him, I wouldn't be where I am today. That's confidence. I'm confident in the fact that God kept me, God covered me, He brought me, He gave me knowledge and wisdom to do what I needed to do. He gave me some answers when I didn't exactly know them all. I'm confident in the fact that I serve an all-knowing, an all-seeing God. I'm confident in the fact that He is my promise keeper. I'm confident in the fact that He fight for me when I can't fight for myself. I'm confident in the
Motion
fact that
detected
He
at the
is my
backyard.
defender. I'm confident in the fact that my right now circumstance does not dictate His outcome for my life. Charity, So I'm confident in that fact to know that right now it may be rough, but I still know he made me a promise. And I went back and I held myself accountable and I took responsibility for my actions. So now I'm confident in the fact that he going to come through for me because I'm trying to do this different, Lord. I'm trying to make sure my life lines up with what you say. I'm trying to walk a different way. I'm walking in confidence, knowing that you walk with me, that you will never leave me nor forsake me. I'm confident in that fact. I'm confident in that. I'm confident because I know that you're going to come through, God. Mm. I'm confident, God, that I remain humble, that I'm not arrogant, that I take this thing seriously, that I'm holding myself accountable, that I'm taking responsibility for things that I may have or should have did a different way. I'm taking responsibility to say, oh God, I didn't do that right. Or God, I
Motion
shouldn't have
detected at the
said that
backyard.
way. I'm gonna go back and get that right. And if I feel that when you get to that point, you need to go back to your brother or sister and say, okay, baby, I'm sorry. I looked at it wrong. I was in my feelings about that thing, but I'm confident in the fact in the book of James, it says, let every man be swift to hear, slow to speak, slow to wrath, for the wrath of man worketh. That's right, Pastor. That is so true. So sometimes we do have to be hearers instead of speakers all the time. So it takes that person to understand that sometimes I got to just listen. Even when I want to come back, I just got to listen. See, that's what confidence is, being confident in who you are, that you don't feel like you got to go word for word or always try to defend yourself because God will fight for you. We said Sunday, the Holy Ghost is a comforter. It'll let you know when to speak and not to speak. So that is true. I'm confident in the fact that I can sit there and let you get it off your chest. I don't have to interrupt. When you're finished, then I can say, well, maybe that's not how it is. I'm sorry if you felt that way. I'm confident in the fact that I can do that. I can take responsibility for what you may have felt was not exactly what it was. But how would we ever know if we don't take the time to talk to one another? We at the season in life where we should be able to say, okay, I can go to you and say, Tanita, I feel like this. And then you can say, well, babe, that's not what it was. But because I never took the time to go talk to you, I'm still harboring, I'm still holding on to that because I never took the time to go talk to you directly about the situation. See, that's what accountability and taking responsibility is all about. So if you feel it and you know you need to go discuss, go discuss. Don't hold, because if you don't speak it, how would they ever know you felt like that? Mm. How would you ever know if they felt like that if you didn't go to them and say, I've been feeling some kind of way. I think I need to come to you so I can get this off of me. And then in that moment, you realize, and when the person says, that's not what it was. And then you realize that, oh, I was in my feelings. And then
Motion
all of a
detected at the
sudden,
backyard.
it was not, hey, Ivory, it wasn't even what you perceived it to be. So until you go sit down and have a conversation with them or her, she, he, whoever it may be, how would you know? That's still taking accountability. See, you have to be responsible and hold yourself accountable for some things. Sometimes we got to make the move. Sometimes I never understood this. I always felt like, because the Bible said if you got to talk with your brother or sister, go to them. And I always felt like, well, if I'm the one that don't have the problem, why I got to go? But then you have to go back and think about that thing and look at it. Communication is key. Yes, it is. Hey, Dee, communication is key. You have to be able to sit down and have a conversation. That's what holding yourself accountable is. I'm taking responsibility for this. If that relationship or that friendship means something to you, then you need to go get it right. You can't hold it like that because sometimes we make a mess
Motion detected at the
if we just
backyard.
sitting there assuming something without actually knowing what it is. Don't assume, go talk. Don't assume, go talk. We have to get to a place where we're able to talk to our brothers and sisters, especially believers. If we can't talk to one another, then what's really going on here? Accountability and responsibility. The difference between arrogance and confidence. Those are the four words I want you to remember today. Accountability, responsibility, the difference between arrogance and confidence. Psalms 15:1 says, a soft answer turns away wrath, but grievous is word stirs up anger. That's right. Go in love. That's right, Pastor. Go in love. Go in love. You speak your truth. And we talked about this in the very beginning when I first started doing this. We all have a right to our truth. It may not be their truth, but it's your truth. It's their truth, your truth, and then the truth, and then God's truth. But when you go
Motion
speak
detected
your
at the
truth in
backyard.
love. Sometimes you got to go in soft and easy. You can't always go in ready to swing and tap dance and all. Sometimes you got to go in sweet, soft, and humble. Because, like he said, a soft answer and a soft truth is a good way to go at it. Go in with your truth, but go in with it with love. We must do our parts as believers in spite of. That's right. In spite of. If we are a believer, God holds us. Just like he said, when we get ready to go to judgment, he's not looking about anybody else. You going for yourself. He ain't gonna want to hear what they started. They say this about. He ain't gonna want to hear that. He ain't gonna want to hear none of that, because you only go into judgment for yourself. What did you allow? What did you do? How did you take responsibility for it? Were you accountable? Did you hold yourself accountable for it? What did you do? What did you allow? And sometimes we have to be really careful because we allow some things to take place, because we all have a
Motion
right to speak
detected
our
at the
truth if we
backyard.
speak our truth in love. And as a believer, love is one of the things that is required of us. Genuine agape love. We should love like Christ loved. And if we're saying we're following Christ, then that means we all about love. We all about taking responsibility, holding ourselves accountable. We all about being humble, never arrogant, just confident in who he made us to be. We should be all about these things because Christ is love too. He is. And if we're following him, then we got to set the example. He set a good example for us. So we've got to set the example. Mean what you say, walk what you say, live what you say. Make sure your life is lining up with what you're saying. And that's me too. I can't get on here and portray something that I'm not applying to myself. I'm applying this to myself. As I get up here every Thursday, I apply it to myself. First, I have to hold myself accountable for my responsibilities. I can't control anybody else. I can control me. I can take
Motion
responsibility
detected
for
at the
myself.
backyard.
I want to make sure that I'm doing this thing right. So these are things that we should all be doing as believers. In this season, the way the world is set up, and every time I turn around, this preacher called, this pastor got this going on. We have to make sure we are living and set an example for people that are sitting back watching us, because they do watch, they do pay attention to what you do, they listen to what you say, they watch how you move. So you have to make sure that you're living what you say. Don't be just saying stuff and not really doing it. Don't say things and don't mean it. When you say it, make sure you're doing it and living it. Hold yourself accountable. Take responsibility for your actions. I say it every Thursday. Things are hard and harder every day. It's like you go down your timeline. There's so much hurt, so many people going through, so much is happening. If we truly need the Lord more than we ever needed him before. We've been saying this for years and years, but as the years go by, you start seeing more and more of the
Motion
Bible
detected at
unfolding,
the
of what they
backyard.
said was coming is coming. So it's our responsibility to make sure our heart is right and make sure that we're doing our best to be the best believer that we know how to be, especially if you're saying you love him. If you're saying that you're walking with him, then you got to make sure that you're walking right and that your foundation is solid, that your foundation is so solid that, I speak him, I breathe him, I live him, I love him. And if I love him, that means I love you too, because he is love. We supposed to love one another. We're supposed to be our brothers and sisters keepers. That's what he said. We're supposed to have each other back. When you're down, I'm supposed to be able to pray for you. And when I'm down, you're supposed to be able to pray for me. That's what brotherly love is. When your sister hurting, you hurting. When your brother going through, you got their back. If we can't come together and pray for one another, then what is the purpose of all of this? Accountability and responsibility. Hold yourself accountable. Amen. We need to follow the blueprint of Jesus' love. That's
Motion
right, Pastor.
detected at
We
the
do.
backyard.
Be genuine. When you say it, make sure it's real. When you're talking about it, make sure it's real. Because believe me, every move you make, they watching. If you say you're a believer, every move you make, they watch. So I'm gonna make sure I'm giving them something to watch. I'm gonna make sure I'm trying to live my best. I always say I can't live my best life if I don't know the giver of life. But I'm so thankful I know the giver of life. So I can live my best life. And my best life is in him. So I thank him every day, and I'm trying every day. I'm striving every day to make sure that what I present is what I live. What how I move is what I really am. So I want to be humble. I don't never want to be arrogant. I just want to be confident in who he made me to be. To know that things are gonna happen. Sometimes we go through things and we get it shakes us to our core. But in the midst of the shaking, just remember that he's in the shaking with you. In the midst of the beating, he's there with you.
Motion
Even in the
detected at the
pressing, he's
backyard.
still there with you. Even right now in the situation that you're going through, God is right there with you. I don't care how hopeless you feel or how you feel like he's not there. He is there. He is there. See, impossible is what he specializes in. What looks impossible to us is nothing to him. It's nothing to him. What feels like hopeless is nothing to him because we know that he is hope. And our hope is built on him. So when we're in those situations, when we feel like alone, we are not alone. God is always with us. All you got to do is say, God, I need you to show up. God, I don't know which way to go. I'm trying here. God, show me which way to go. And remember that everything you do, acknowledge him. Acknowledge him in everything you do. And he will direct your path. He will come through. He will answer. He just wants us to be consistent with him because he's consistent with us. He shows up every day when he wakes you up. He shows up every day when you can move your hands, when you're breathing and you can
Motion
inhale and
detected at the
exhale. He
backyard.
shows up for you every day. Now we got to show up for him like he show up for us. We got to let the world know that he is real. And he's real because he lives in us. He's real because he's real to us. We present him. When we stepping out, I'm representing him. So I want to represent him well. I want him to say, well done. I don't want him to say, depart from me, because I know you not. I want him to say, well done. So I'm going to take and hold myself accountable. I'm going to take responsibility. I'm going to make sure I'm humble, never arrogant, just confident in who he made me to be. And I want to love like he loved. I want to love like he loved because that's what is required of us. That is what is required of us. And that's all I have for today. So remember that arrogance and confidence are two different things. Taking responsibility and actions. Hey, Khadijah, remember that.
Motion
Remember.
detected at the backyard.
Walk in who he called you to be. Be confident in who he has called you to be and know who you belong to because he loves you. He showed us how much he loved us when he went to the cross. And then when he got up, that was the greatest. So he already showed us what real agape, unconditional love was. He gave us a prime example of what love is. Because when he died for us, that was the greatest love of all. So he showed us, he gave us an example of how to love one another. He did. So we should love like Christ loved. Take and hold yourself accountable. Take responsibility for your actions, what you allow and what you don't allow. The Lord preserveth all them that love him, but all the wicked will be destroyed. That's right, Pastor. And I love God with all my heart. And I love you guys, and ain't nothing you can do about it. There is
Motion
nothing you can
detected
do
at the
about it.
backyard.
Tell somebody you love them and mean it. Show somebody you love them and mean it. Show somebody that you love them and mean it. We used to sing that song that says, this little light of mine, I'm going to let it shine. All in my home, all in my job, wherever I go, I want it to shine. So I want my love to lead the way. I want my light to shine and I want them to see Jesus in me. I want somebody to be able to say, I want what she got. I want that peace that she has. I want that. I want to be able, you should be able to say, God, I love you this much. And when they see me, I want them to see you. Because it's not about me, it's about the Christ or the God that's in me. I love you, Dee Dee. Tell somebody you love them today and mean it. I love you and I love you. I love you. I love you. And thank you for joining me today. And y'all have an awesome Thursday. And we will see you next Thursday with Tidbits with Peaches. And I love you. And there's nothing you can do about it.
Motion detected at the backyard.